every NFL coaching opening has been filled except for the Saints. So that means the Saints coaching search is about to get really, really stupid. Thomas, hit that intro.
Welcome to Saints Happy Hour podcast. We never skip a drink day.
Budrich wants to know how the doctor's doing.
That ended.
Now grab a drink and enjoy the show.
All right, everybody, welcome to another edition of Saints Happy Hour podcast. As always, we are brought to you by Hard Hide Ponchatoula Strawberry Whiskey. I got Kevin with me.
Ralph.
I got Thomas.
Ralph, hang on. I have to cut you off here. So listen, if we're gonna do this here podcast today, I have a simple request.
Yeah, what is that?
Now listen. I know that you and I have been podcasting since 2005.
Six,
somewhere around there, nearly 20 years, if not 20 years. I know you were the one that pitched the idea of us doing a podcast together in the first place, and that you have been the brain trust of this for the last nearly 2 decades. Yeah. But if I'm going to do this podcast, I'm going to need you to get off. I'm going to need you to get off and stop being the host of this podcast in order for me to continue doing this.
You want me to?
I want you to fire yourself in order for me to continue doing.
So you're pulling the Aaron Glenn with the Saints. You're telling, like, Aaron Glenn supposedly told Mickey Loomis to fire if they wanted Aaron Glenn to be the Saints coach, Mickey Loomis needed to fire himself. If they wanted Aaron Glenn. So you're telling me if you were going to continue on this podcast, you want me to fire myself?
Oh, I didn't even know Aaron Glenn. Oh, I didn't. What happened with Aaron Glenn? What happened there? I didn't know. What's going on there? Has there been any developments there? Are we any closer to getting Aaron Glenn as the head coach?
No, he's going to the Jets.
Oh,
get locked in.
Oh, okay.
But it's a great jumping
off. Good luck
off.
to you, Aaron. I'm sure you'll do quite well there with the owner's son. Looking up Madden ratings and Captain Ayahuasca putting his 2 cents in, or maybe you won't have him, and then you'll have to juggle that. But best of luck to you, Aaron. You seem like a good guy. Good luck.
Here's my
the Jets, who haven't made the playoffs since 2006.
That's right. They've gone as long not making the playoffs as the Saints went to start their franchise existence, not having a winning season and not making the playoffs. That's how bad the Jets currently are. And by the way, the Jets weirdly hired the exact same profile of coach that they just fired. Like Robert Saleh, defensive coordinator of really good NFC team, a culture guy, a rah-rah guy, a quote-unquote leader of men. They hired the exact same guy in Aaron Glenn. Like usually you hire one guy, the next guy you hire is like the opposite. Like the Saints, DA couldn't lead people out of a wet paper bag. Now they're like culture, leader, good, So, but anyway, good luck, Jets. But this is what we're going to discuss today, Kevin. Because look,
okay,
all the jobs have been filled. Pete Carroll went to the Raiders.
Today that was announced today.
Today, by the way, Pete Carroll, oldest coach in NFL history. He's 73. He's older than Belichick. He's going to be this. He'll be 74 in September. Oldest coach in NFL history. Good luck.
Well, I heard he wanted to personally examine all of the steel beams being used in new construction in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
So good luck to you, metallurgist Pete Carroll.
Here and now that the Saints are the last team to hire, they're going to be the last team to hire.
Seemingly, because I said so. The Bears made the first move. They got Ben Johnson.
Yep.
Then the Jets went and got Aaron Glenn. Then the Jags went and got the guy from Tampa.
Cohen,
And now the Raiders have Pete Carroll. So that leaves the Saints and the Cowboys.
Cowboys going to hire Schottenheimer, supposedly.
Which Schottenheimer is this?
That's Brian, son of Marty.
Son of Marty. How old is Brian?
I don't know. He's probably in his 50s. He's been offensive coordinator a bunch of places. Places.
I mean, he sounds like a qualified individual.
I guess so. I want to talk about, because me and Kevin were talking about, they had a tweet from TJ Jones that said, hey, Aaron Glenn told the Saints, he said, listen, if you want to hire me, Mickey Loomis, you got to fire yourself or kick upstairs, and I want to be in the process of hiring a general manager. And like every source we have that, like Juge and me, that like Juge has really good sources inside the Saints building. I have a couple. They're not as high up as Juge. All these people, not only...
Why don't you back it up with a source? My source is that I made it the fuck up. They were mad
at me for even asking them. They were like, I can't believe you're asking me this bullshit.
Listen, I tell you what. Allow me, the guy that doesn't have any sources, the guy that doesn't know anybody, the guy that's not plugged in, allow me then to state my opinion on what should be done. Because here's the thing. I'm sure there's some reporters out there that could debunk this, or maybe the Saints, maybe Mickey would like to have another press conference where he chomps gum and grins like a jackass and shoots this guy and shoots this rumor down. Like I don't know who Timothy Jones is. And listen, just because I don't know you doesn't mean jack shit. It's whatever. I'm just simply saying I don't know the guy, so I don't know his track record. I no idea on any of that. But the idea on its face even sounds preposterous. But this idea that the team won't shoot down or refute bad info or some bad narrative that's being pushed around, that seems a little silly, because they certainly did that when Dave supposedly heard from somebody that Mickey was thinking of stepping down and letting some underling step up to be the GM.
But to be honest,
Mickey shot that down with a quickness.
We were stunned they did that.
I want to chastise any reporters out there. And I'm not going to name names. You guys probably talk to these people. I don't. It's whatever. It's no skin off my ass. But if you're a reporter in any field, and you have the wherewithal and the ability to shoot down false information that is either misinformed. It's either misinformed, exaggerated, or a flat-out prevarication. If it's one of those three things, it is incumbent upon you, as somebody who is plugged in and knows what's going on or has a better idea of what's going on, if you can disprove that or show that that's incorrect, then you should be doing that. That is your job as a member of the media to show that something is false. Because people peddling false information is bad. It's bad. I shouldn't have to say, we should know that as people. Peddling false shit is bad. And you, as somebody who is plugged in and has knowledge or sources, like as an actual reporter, connected to the team, sources with the team, you have people that are talking to you. I'm sure you do. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to be a successful sports reporter.
Here's the thing.
For a long period of time. If you are plugged in and have somebody, and you can't somehow write about this to disprove this because you are afraid of the blowback, or afraid of potential pushback, or afraid of getting dunked on online, this applies beyond sports.
Well, I just say this.
This applies to regular news, anything. If you won't do it for fear of the backlash or the response, then you're a coward.
Well,
I ain't mincing words about that.
I think
you are a fucking coward.
And
I'm sure you're going to get a text message, or Jude will get a text message, or Dave will get a text message. Actually, somebody will probably walk up to Dave on the links and say, Kevin, call me fucking coward. It's like, I fucking stutter. Cowardice. Cowardice. Listen, when there are lies, when there are either lies, exaggerations, or misinformation being spewed, and you have the ability to correct it, and you don't because you're afraid of something.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing, Kevin. I think with the Saints coaching search is and I've sort of learned this. This is it's a politics thing, but it really can work in anything. And I heard that, I forget who said this, but he was like, and he was in politics, and I think he was a left person, but he said, listen, he said,
what this guy say?
He said, whenever I hear something that is really good for my side and really bad for the other side, people that I don't like, and I really want to believe it, he says, that's when my radar goes up the most. Because when you hear something that you want to believe because it confirms your bias or makes the other side that you in politics that you don't like look bad, and you want to believe it, he said, that's when you need to be on the most alert and you need to be the most cautious. And I think with Saints fans, a lot of them on social media, they hate the team right now. They don't like Loomis. Right. They don't like the quarterback. They don't have a coach to hate because they fired him.
Well, right. They did hate the coach. They still hate the quarterback. They still hate the GM. I think we're getting pretty close to them hating the owner because the owner is
the owner's next.
He's up to people that they don't like, which is fine. Hey, not dispute. But
here's the thing: the Saints are going to be the last team to make a hire.
Yeah,
and I'm already seeing it on Twitter. Is that people are like, Saints are the last team to make a hire. They're going to spin it just like they did with Kubiak, that they're taking their time and they're doing their due diligence instead of nobody wants the freaking job. And I'm like, but Kubiak was a good hire. Like what? Yes, they took their time because clearly they wanted Kubiak and he wanted them, and he went to the freaking Super Bowl. So like, if you want to trash the Saints, like the next 2 weeks is going to be crazy. Like if the Saints decide that they are hiring Kellen Moore, offensive coordinator for the Eagles, or Joe Brady, offensive coordinator for the Bills, if the Saints decide they're hiring either one, Kevin, it's going to be so stupid the next 2 weeks.
Or Mike McCarthy. Whoever they hire. You don't just have to limit it to those two. Please don't limit it to those two. Whoever they hire.
My point is this. If they hire one of the Super Bowl coordinators, the stupidity is going to get ramped up, because if they hire Mike McCarthy's probably going to be done by like next Friday, because he's going to come in. He'll come in on a Tuesday. They'll take him to a nice restaurant. They give him some Hubix pies, and he'll have a great visit. And then like he'll do that on Tuesday, and then on Wednesday, Diana Rossini will be like, "Oh, it's getting pretty heating up with Mike McCarthy and the Saints. They're moving further down the line." And then by Thursday, it'll be like, "Oh, he's going to be the coach." And by Friday, it'll be done.
Wait, question. Would the Saints announce that hire next Friday before the Super Bowl?
Well, remember Super Bowl.
Because doesn't the league try and doesn't the league try and contain the news to be about the game?
They do, but remember they have the off week. So like the Saints,
right. That's what I'm saying. Is next week is the off week.
Next week is the off week. The league doesn't want any. The league doesn't want any coaching week. Game week. So like the Saints, the ideal would be like get it done, have the press conference Friday, get everything wrapped up, and you're not making news. But it's the Saints. Like
the math wasn't mathing in here. Sorry, folks.
Yeah.
I don't know how it works.
But the thing is, here's a question. Like if the Saints, my thing is, if the longer it goes, the more the people that hate the Saints and don't believe they know what they're doing, the void of no news, they're going to fill it with nonsense. Like if you thought
that happened, brother, that was happening during the season anyway.
That's happening now, but it's going to.
It's whoever wants to talk. It's whoever wants to talk and fill the void anyway. But it's going to fill the void regardless.
Yeah, but it's gonna ramp up even more.
Sure,
because there's not going to be other coaching hires to fill, and you're just going to have abject panic for 2 weeks, and Saints fans are going to go. I mean, it's gonna like I can't even conjure up the insanity that will happen in the next 2+ weeks if the Saints are waiting on one of the coordinators in the Super Bowl. Like
that's great. That's great. Here's the thing. But with the Saints, the Saints are somehow going to wind up being the last team to get a head coach, and they might still Mickey Loomis their way into making a good hire. Because and you know who else we forgot? I forgot to mention this at the top. The Patriots got Mike Vrabel. He was the first guy that got hired. So Vrabel got taken off the board, and yes, he was in high demand, but nobody. Saints fans, to my knowledge, never really considered that as a realistic possibility.
Yeah.
Ben Johnson, Aaron Glenn, seeming, it was more focused on Aaron Glenn. Okay, so Ben Johnson goes away. All right, fine. Well, we like Aaron Glenn, yada, yada, yada. And the Jets just made him such a great offer. We weren't looking at this guy from Tampa. So
and we weren't looking at Ben Johnson.
So the Jags took him off the board. The Raiders took old man Pete Carroll out of retirement and got him off the board. So we weren't looking at him either.
Yeah.
We also weren't. There was no mention that I ever heard of the son of Schottenheimer.
Yeah, that's stunning.
Being on the Saints' radar, and the Cowboys might very well snag him. So guess what? We had one guy that the Saints that's the Saints and the fandom were really keyed in on. Aaron Glenn. That was it.
That's it.
And he's off the board. So the Saints fandom is likely to get their number 2 guy.
And here's the thing.
If you would tell me that the Saints would get, before all this shit happened, pick your 3 guys and try and be realistic about it. You're telling me we may not get our first guy, but we would get our second guy or our third guy?
And
I could be okay with that.
Yeah. And
I could absolutely be okay with that. I am at the point with this coaching search that if it's let's say if it's Kellen Moore, I would be disappointed. I would be bummed out based off of past whatever. I could probably talk myself into it based on him helping the Commandos.
The Eagles. Are you thinking of Cliff Kingsbury? You keep thinking of Kingsbury.
Sorry. Oh yeah, sorry. I've mixed up my K's. I apologize.
But
yeah.
But here's my point is that the next 2 weeks is going to be insane for the Saints. Like the rumors that the people are going to be negative and all this. But Kevin, here's the thing where I think, look, I don't pretend to know who's going to be a good coach, and I'm not gonna crush the Saints on whoever I'll crush them if they hire Kingsbury because I think he's a 2-time loser. That would really, really concern me. But eventually, he's sexy. I'll get on board. Eventually, by the summer. He's a good-looking guy.
Look, we'll all talk ourselves. We will all talk ourselves into whoever it is. But we talked ourselves into Dennis Allen.
That's right. Some of us did.
The delusion is real.
That's right. So, but here's my point with the Saints is if they go 2 weeks and if they hire, if it comes down to like they're thinking and say Mike McCarthy isn't the number 1 choice. Say like their number 1 choice is number one in 1A or however you want to rank them is Kellen Moore and Joe Brady for Buffalo.
Brady, please.
If Buffalo and Philadelphia are in the Super Bowl, and let's say it comes out in like the next week or so, like the Saints, like Joe Brady's the guy. If Buffalo makes the Super Bowl and they win the Super Bowl and Josh Allen is hugging Joe Brady, thanking him, saying, we won the Super Bowl. We got Buffalo a championship finally. I'm MVP. For the Saints the next day to be like, the guy who helped Buffalo or Philadelphia win the freaking Super Bowl, he's our coach. I don't know how it will work as far as wins and losses down the line, but as far as like good PR and feel good and be pumped up about it, that'll be a huge win, and we'll be excited about. I mean, I have reservations about either one of them, but if they win the Super Bowl, I'll be like, you got the coordinator who won the Super Bowl. It's a pretty good hire.
What am I big on, Ralph?
Vibes.
Thank you.
It's vibes.
Thank you. See,
it's a grand
that's how you know Ralph knows me, folks.
That's right.
I didn't have to send him. I didn't have to type anything. I didn't have to give him any signals with my eyes.
I mean, it's a
vibes.
It's a vibes grand slam.
Listen, if you get the Super Bowl winning coordinator, the vibes will be good. Look, I said it 5 minutes earlier, or 2 minutes. I don't know. You scroll the thing on the YouTube whenever this uploads, and you tell me how many minutes. Kellen Moore and Kingsbury, reservations will be had.
Yes.
If it's Joe Brady, I'm going to be ecstatic. I'll run around in a little circle in a one-man mosh pit or whatever. I don't care if the Bills make the Super Bowl and lose. If the Bills, if he is the coordinator of it, if Joe Brady helps get the Bills to the Super Bowl, and they lose, and we still name Joe Brady, it's like, hey, you got the forlorn Bills back to the Super Bowl and help them get back to the mountaintop. Hey, man, that will get good vibes. That should get you good vibes through up into training camp and the preseason. Average, you get a hire like that, and then you go and have, say, an average draft that's 9 or 10 guys.
Mm-hmm.
The vibes will continue until kickoff on game 1, my friend.
Yeah, what's your? You said you had reservations about Kellen Moore, but you're super pumped about Brady. Like, what's in your mind? Like, what's the difference?
Hang on, I knew I had something about. Yeah, I want to.
Like, what's the difference between the two? Because I'm not going to pretend.
Look, I just got memories of this guy wearing gloves, throwing footballs, and I'm just like,
yeah, he was.
Like he looks like. He looks like
a bee. Like,
what do you call
on Leave It to Beaver?
What's the name of the Chinese clothing place, or they sell like everything?
Oh, I can't think of. I know.
Alibaba.
The ads always show up on Twitter, and you can't get rid of them. Thanks a lot, Elmo.
Yeah, Timo.
He looks like Timu Lex Luthor.
Joe Brady looks like a guy who wears. Joe Brady looks like a guy who wears.
Kellen Moore, not Joe Brady. Joe Brady
looks like a guy who wears a lot of Ed Hardy T-shirts.
Yeah, Joe Brady looks like he may have some questionable opinions. As long as he keeps them in here.
That's right.
And as long as he's calling, the plays and just doing this and that, and if he can get as long as the football is good and the plays are fine and the team wins, and just keep it right in here. Just keep it right in here, Joe. Just don't let whatever you're thinking come out. I don't need to hear it or know it. That's fine.
One thing that interests me about Joe Brady, and it's not scheme, and it's not leadership, and it's not anything, but looking back, I really like it, is he did like a coaching seminar that Ed Ogeron went to, and he was explaining the Sean Payton offense and stuff. And Ed Ogeron was like, "Bobo, come on, Cajun, come and help me run the LSU offense." Joe Brady, you're just like an assistant person for the Saints. Come to LSU and be a full-time assistant coach and help me run the offense. Help me put it in. And Sean Payton was like, "If you go to LSU, you're fucking stupid. That is dumb." And Joe Brady was like, "Yeah, Sean Payton, I'm going anyway." And I just like the chutzpah of like a guy who had never been like a full-time position coach for either college or NFL, because he was like an assistant with the Saints, right? Like, for a guy to have the chutzpah, to the balls to tell Sean Payton, "Yeah, I'm going." Like, I like that. Like maybe it'll end and he'd be like too reckless with the Saints, and he failed in Carolina. I get it, all that. But a guy like that, like, I feel like that's the kind of like courage and like self-belief, Like, you need that to be an NFL coach. Like, to be a good head coach, you got to have that. You got to have the courage to be like, no, Sean Payton, Super Bowl winning coach. No, I'm going to LSU. And I like that about him. You're shaking your head?
I'm just looking up some of Kellen Moore's stuff, and I'm just wondering if I'm confusing him for somebody else.
You might be. Kellen Moore is interesting.
Yeah, I might very well be confusing him for somebody else, but which again, there you go. That's proof right there. I'm not plugged in and don't have connections to this shit.
The thing with Kellen Moore that's kind of weird, would be kind of weird, Kevin, is if
the guy played 3 games in the NFL in a 6-year career. He made 3 appearances.
Yeah, he made like 50 something starts for Boise. Like he's one.
Oh yeah, no, he seemingly I'm looking at that. He was good. He was good in Boise.
Here's the thing, Kevin, that's interesting with Kellen Moore is the Saints are interviewing Mike McCarthy next week, and if they Kellen Moore, we don't know where he is in the pecking order, but I know the Saints kind of are clearly they're trending to where I think they're going to go offense. They're going to go Brady, Moore, McCarthy, King. They're trending offense. But the interesting thing with Kellen Moore is he was offensive coordinator for Dallas 2 years ago. Mike McCarthy fired him, and ran the offense himself, and Kellen Moore went to the Eagles. The interesting thing, though, is like, if the Saints hired Kellen Moore, wouldn't that be like hiring the Costco version of Mike McCarthy? Because like he's like off-brand McCarthy. Like McCarthy, he was McCarthy's offensive coordinator, and McCarthy fired him. So if you hire Kellen Moore, isn't that going off-brand McCarthy? That would be a little weird to me. But he
was the OC of the Chargers in 2023.
Yes.
So, how the hell did the Chargers do in 2023? They went 5-12.
Yeah. It went off the rails. Herbert got hurt. Herbert got hurt. It was off the rails.
Yeah. Brandon. Okay, that was the year Brandon Staley got canned. Okay.
I will say, like, does it make? I think with Kellen Moore, the thing that's appealing for me is that he's worked with Dak Prescott, he's worked with Herbert, and he's worked with Hurts. Those are like completely different quarterbacks, all 3 of them. So I think that that gives me hope that he's not like one of these guys where like, I'm coming in and you're running my system, and I don't care if my system doesn't fit your specific skills. You got to fit the Kellen Moore system, and like he doesn't seem like that kind of guy, because like the Eagles, what they do is completely different from what Dallas did. It's completely different than what he did with the Chargers. So I like that about him. We only have a couple minutes left, Kevin.
Now, the defense was bad for the Chargers that year.
Yeah. And like Brandon Staley was a defensive guy. So it was like Brandon Staley was like, what do you do here, man? Like your defense.
Yeah.
Your defense.
Look, the rushing game looked bad. Again, I'm only looking at numbers. The rushing game looked bad. The passing game looked average.
Mm-hmm.
Total offense was a little bit below average.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, it seemingly didn't have a lot to work with or something, but yeah, that's bad.
What would be if the Saints, let's say they're going to hire one of these Super Bowl coordinators, so we're going to have to wait 2 more weeks.
Yeah.
You're going to have to wait like 2 weeks plus a couple days, like Monday, Tuesday, they'd have a press conference after the Super Bowl to announce.
Right. Make the announcement after the game, before the parade.
Right. They might even be like, hey, Joe Brady's not at the parade because he's in New Orleans.
I would.
You let him go to the parade.
I wouldn't do that to the guy. Whoever you hire.
Go back to Buffalo.
I'm just talking what looks good. I'm just talking about what looks good.
Yeah, like
if you hire one of the coordinators, you leak the announcement that the guy's going to get hired on a Monday or a Tuesday.
Yeah.
It's basically all but known. And then whenever the parade is, if it's Wednesday or the Thursday, you let them go to the parade. And then the next day or the Friday after, you then introduce the guy in the presser.
Yeah, I think
with the sport coat and the little golf shirt and the hat, and everything's hunky dory.
I think probably if the Saints hire one of the coordinators, like it won't be official until after the Super Bowl, but it'll be like, I think it'll probably be known and locked in. Like somebody Somebody will leak it and break it.
Right, but do the press conference after the parade. Let the guy go to the parade and enjoy the fun and the camaraderie. That looks good.
And like you say, it ramps up the vibes. Like if the Saints hire Joe Brady and he's in the cold of Buffalo with the Lombardi Trophy at the parade, and we see it, and we're like, tomorrow he's flying to New Orleans, and on Wednesday the Saints are going to announce him. The vibes go through the roof, right? But here's my question to you. One last thing before we get out of here. And we said at the top, if the Saints take the 2 weeks, the rumors, the negativity, it's going to get hilariously stupid. What's the funniest Saints rumor, quote unquote, breaking news that could happen in the next 2 weeks that would just infuriate a lot of people on Saints Twitter, but me and you would be cackling with delight, and we'd be like, I can't believe people are breaking this as news. Like, what would be the funniest scenario? Because I definitely have a scenario that I think would be really.
Oh God, I see. What would have us cackling? That I can't think of.
See,
that I cannot think of. You go ahead.
I think the funniest scenario, it would drive people freaking insane, would be that Mike McCarthy, like the Saints kind of get far down the line with him and they don't close the deal. Like that would drive. That would drive people.
He just decides he's going to be fine taking a year off.
Yeah, he's like, I'm going to take a year. But like, I think it would be hysterical because then like all the reasons why that leaked would just be off the charts. It would be like every single story would just be negative towards the Saints. Loomis told him he can't help pick players. Loomis told him he had to get on Ozempic. Loomis told him, whatever. Like it would be insane. And I like, that's what I like. That would be the funniest scenario.
Tomas, did you hear that? Ozempic, not Ozempic. Ozempic.
Ralph can't say anyone's name right.
Wait,
Ozempic sounds like the Polish version of Ozempic.
I got it. It's cheaper. You haven't noticed? I've been losing weight. Are you saying it's not safe? It's not FDA approved? So, Kevin, let's go on record. We're not like Juge. We don't have those premium sources. But let's me and you make a call on pick me a Saints head coach. Pick me a guy.
I mean, look. My greatest one is Joe Brady. Mm-hmm. If it's not Joe Brady, I'll be fine.
Yeah.
I'll be fine. If it's Mike McCarthy, I'll come in and be like, it's a retread, but he's been successful. I'll be fine.
Yeah.
If it's Kellen Moore or Cliff Kingsbury, I'll be underwhelmed. If they're coming off a Super Bowl win, I'll be like, all right, there's a little bit of shine on it. So, I'll have my little banner. It'd be like Monty Python and the Holy Grail. There was much rejoicing. Yay, that kind of thing. So I guess my druthers, give me Joe Brady.
I think that's who you want, but who do you think it's going to be?
I have
no faintest idea.
Brother, I got no clue. This
think
podcast alone should tell you I have no clue.
I'm going to say we even forgot about this guy. They're interviewing Kafka and Weaver the weekend. We're just going to forget them. I really think it'll be McCarthy.
Okay.
I think it's going to be McCarthy, and next Friday, me and you, Thomas, dust off the breaking news siren. It'll be McCarthy, and that'll be that. But guys, thanks for listening to the show. Thanks for supporting us. If you don't mind, put a comment if you find us on the YouTube. It doesn't cost you anything, and it's a great way to support the show. If you liked what you heard, go to patreon.com/Saints Happy Hour. Check us out. We have all sorts of different levels you can check us to get. You get all our free content. We give 2-3 podcasts a week just to the patrons. You want to join us? We have a Discord community. It's amazing. Me, Kevin, Andrew, Dave are always in there. But guys, have a great weekend. Love you. Support the show. And until next time, the bar is closed.